Chase Elliott is back in victory lane, and Cup cars are back at Bowman Gray Stadium. Let's break down everything that's happened in the last 48 hours in Winston Salem, North Carolina. Welcome to Off Throttle. This is my new channel and something I'm going to work on in 2025, and I will try to have a post and pre-race show for every single Cup race, as well as recaps for what happened with Truck and Xfinity. But we'll deal with that later. Right now, let's talk about what's gone on at Bowman Gray Stadium in the last 48 hours as NASCAR makes its return in 2025 and its return to Bowman Gray Stadium for the first time in 50 years. First, I want to talk a little bit about the clash tonight, though, because tonight we saw a better show at Bowman Gray Stadium than any of the three races in Los Angeles. And I'm from California, and I went to 2 of the 3 Coliseum races, and I enjoyed both of them. But Bowman Gray Stadium put on a show tonight. The Los Angeles Coliseum was great at what it was trying to do, to reach outside the NASCAR world and try to engage new fans. And I think it did that. But at Bowman Gray Stadium, you had local fans who come weekly to watch race cars race at this track and to see their people, their racers, Burt Myers and Tim Brown, in the field racing in Cup cars against Cup Series drivers. And to have 2 of their local guys, Tim Brown and Burt Myers, in the field racing with the Cup guys definitely gave some atmosphere and some life to the crowd tonight. Heck, when Burt Myers got wrecked in the last chance qualifier, I'm not sure there was a single person who was still sitting down at the stadium. But I want to go back a little bit to yesterday, to the heat racing that we saw before the last chance qualifier today. Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, Denny Hamlin, and Tyler Reddick all won their heat races. But the big news was that Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, and Ty Gibbs, 3 playoff drivers from last season, did not make the cut. The 9 car is a team that I think will get off the ground quick in 2025, and I think could even win a race the first couple of weeks. Chase Elliott looks quick, he looks determined, he looks motivated to put his name back up at the top level and the names of the Cup Series. But with the points provisional, Ryan Blaney opted to just use the last chance qualifier to run through some tests on his car and then pull off and know he's going to the main event. It got right underway though. Just a few laps into heat race number 1, Kyle Busch and Justin Haley were banging doors and running all over each other. And then later in the night, John Hunter moved Ryan Preece up the track, and then Preece came back and booted Nemechek into turn 3, spinning him out and sending John Hunter Nemechek to the last chance qualifier. To me, the racing was just better at Bowman Gray Stadium than the Coliseum. And at parts, the cars would get strung out, especially in the second half of the race. But it never felt like Chase Elliott or Denny Hamlin or Tyler Reddick or whoever was leading at that moment ever got too far away. It felt like they were still able to stay close enough that one corner and you can close in to get the bumper. I want to talk a little bit about Burt Myers and Tim Brown, though. 2 local track champions at Bowman Gray Stadium. 2 drivers that, honestly, I'd never heard of until this week. But it was good to hear from them. Good to hear about them and their stories and all of the track championships and wins they have at that place. And awesome to see them running Cup cars in their place, in their home. Neither of them made the show, although the 50 car showed some speed towards the end of the last chance qualifier. Burt Myers was moving up the field a little bit until he got together with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and spun out. For the local fans though, how cool is that to be able to see 2 drivers that you watch weekly and have watched win track championships and race after race after race, getting to see them race with the Cup guys and the Cup Series return to the Madhouse was really cool and really special for those fans, I bet. We did see Ty Gibbs and Justin Haley get into it some during the last chance qualifier. Gibbs had gotten spun out, and on his way to the garage, he decided that he was going to hit Haley on the door. And when Ty did that, his left front hit Haley's right front and launched the 54 car into the air briefly. In the main event, though, we really saw Chase Elliott dominate. From the beginning and the drop of the green flag, he led most of the first half until being passed late by Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick. But after restarting the second half of the race, Just a few spots behind first, Chase quickly moved his way back towards the front and then into first, about halfway through stage 2, the second half of the race. Chase finished the 2024 season really, really strong. Listen to some of these finishes. After Watkins Glen, Chase finished 2nd at the Bristol Night Race, 9th in Kansas, 29th at Talladega, 5th at the Charlotte Roval, was involved in a wreck at Las Vegas and finished 33rd, 5th at Homestead, 2nd at Martinsville, and then 8th in the season finale at Phoenix. So Chase Elliott was hot to finish 2024. Chase Elliott looks ready to reinsert his name into the top drivers of the Cup Series. But the story was Ryan Blaney. Taking the points provisional and starting 23rd tonight, Ryan Blaney just kept moving forward, car after car, all the way through the race. There really wasn't a moment where Blaney was zooming through the field and passing a bunch of cars, but he was just slowly and methodically just getting one car after another, picking his way through the field all the way up. I believe he started 5th or 6th on the final restart of the night, and then just drove to the front from there. Once he had the lead, Hamlin tried to get back around him a few times, but for the most part, Chase sailed away to the win. Some other top finishers, though. Denny Hamlin, with a new crew chief, comes P3. With no Chris Gabehart, Chris Gale on the box now, Denny Hamlin and the 11 team jump right out of the gate with the top 3, and really a good shot to win tonight. It's a really good start for the 11 car, something to build off of going forward as you try to rebuild a relationship with someone who's been in the building, and Denny and Chris Gale have known each other for a few years, but they've never worked together to the extent that they are now. Joey Logano, the reigning champ, picks up right where he left off and goes back to being right up there at the front of the field with a P4 finish tonight. A lot of people had Joey as the favorite coming into this race because of Logano's history to win first races at new tracks or events. Bubba Wallace gets a top 5 in his first race with his new crew chief. The 23 looked really fast at points tonight, but ended up settling right around 5th place towards the end of the race. Austin Cindric is inside the top 10 at P7, and that's a really good run for the 2 car. It feels like at times that 2 car struggles with their short track program, but on a flat track, maybe similar to Gateway in some ways with how flat it is. Obviously, Bowman Gray is much smaller, but Cindric got it done tonight and got a nice top 10 on the first race weekend of the season. Shane Van Gisbergen is also inside the top 10 at P9, and I feel like that's a really good race for SVG's first asphalt quarter-mile race of his career. We all know that Shane Van Gisbergen can and might even win a Cup race again this season on a road course. But the rate at which he is learning oval racing is very impressive, and it would not shock me if by the end of this season that 88 car is fighting for Cup wins on ovals. How about Josh Berry, though? First time in that 21 car at Wood Brothers Racing, and they get that car into the main event through Josh Berry really using his bumper in the last chance qualifier. He got up to second, got up to first, fell back to second, and then took the second place spot into the main event tonight. Overall, even as someone who went to 2 of the 3 races in the LA Coliseum and enjoyed them for many months, was disappointed in the decision to not have it back at the Coliseum. But tonight was awesome. The Madhouse just puts on a show. NASCAR needs to be in the Southern California market, but it doesn't have to be the Clash. It especially does not have to be the Coliseum in Los Angeles. First race with the new HBO driver cameras on boards that we're going to have during every single race this season. And I used it to watch a driver, and I really enjoyed it. The audio isn't quite synced up and needs just a little bit of work, but overall this was a great first showing and gives a level of attention on a single driver that you really didn't get before. And I know there were the cameras on NASCAR.com and on the app, and I used those at times, but they just, because of the inability to pause to sync up with like your streaming TV, it was always harder to use because I want for it to be synced up. I want to watch the broadcast also without the race being spoiled or a caution being spoiled through an onboard camera. So the HBO cameras, being able to pause and sync those up with whatever you're watching the race on was great. And being able to, that was awesome. So to me, that's a plus. That's a great thing that NASCAR has done this in this media deal. But we're going to see how it goes again in Daytona 2 weeks from today. What did you guys see tonight? What did you guys have to say? Let me know down below. Like the video, subscribe down below. I'm going to link some social medias down there. But until then, this is Off Throttle, and I'll see you guys next time.